Welcome back. Mondays, we celebrate women and the things they are doing in their small spaces to ensure that they advance the cause of enterprise and the women causes generally. So we have joining us today on the program two lovely ladies. Fashion model, was model for Hues and Shades, Elizabeth Okokon, known by the stage name Ilox, right?
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We also have joining us interior designer, design facilitator, and creative director, 18th Interiors and 18th Mistletoe, co-founder and lead facilitator at Globe Design School, Abimbola Oyesonya. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So let me start with you, the model herself.
With you or with you?
With you, right here. You know, it's just like in the gym. If you go to the gym, for instance, when you do little exercises, the small exercises, because for men like us, we like to lift heavy weights. And so we feel like, man, this is the biggest work you could do. But these little things they do in the gym, squat and all of that, they now know that heavy weights you're lifting may be a joke at the end of the day. I said that to bring to the fore how interesting and challenging at the same time is being a model. Because we just see you strut on the runway and we say, we can do this. Is it that easy?
Well, there are several challenges in the industry, but I would like to talk about only two.
Right.
The competition and the rejection in the industry, which is really difficult to digest when you have low self-esteem. In my early career, I faced this and I had self-doubts. But along the line, we got help. I'm still here. And I realized that no, it's to give you room for more improvement, and it will give you room for more yes and better gigs. So yeah, I see challenges now as a stepping stone.
So what does it take to be a model? Maybe let's start from the back. How did you get into this space? I'm going to come to you in a moment. How did you get into this space as a model? You must be tall. Yes. You must be this, you must be that. There are so many must. So maybe you walk us through all of that, because young girls are watching who may be interested, and the different types, I understand there are different types of modeling as well.
Yes, there are. So you do your research on which field are you, or branch that you are interested in. Know what's you're required for that field. Just like for runway, the standard is you have to be fit, you have to be size 6, you have to be confident.
Size 6?
Well, yes, size 6. But now they're trying to if you could walk well, if you're confident in yourself, because they look more for the confidence. They don't want anyone just walking on the runway looking all sluggish. They want you all confident in yourself, walking like a queen. So yes, you have to be confident in yourself. You have to be upright, head straight. You have to be, you have to give your best, because a lot of people are watching you, because you are rocking a brand and you don't want to make that brand look less, because you're bringing the best of that brand. So yes.
Apparently, more like sounding like the ladies are like the billboards of these designers at the end of the day. We're going to talk about the money in a moment. Let me come to you. As I was introducing you, I saw a lot of 18th Interiors, 18th this, 18th that.
Yeah, so it's like,
I know your interior, let's begin with the name. What's up with that name, 18th?
So it's my mother's birth date.
Oh.
And I lost her when I was quite young, so it was just my way of keeping her memory alive.
Oh. Sorry about that. So you're immortalizing your mom.
Yes.
Interior design. Why is it? It's almost more expensive to decorate and put those things in your house than even build a house.
Because I think finishing makes up the home.
Okay.
Really. And interior design is a luxury service, because it's very easy for me to build. And then when I have my money, I go to the market, I buy my curtains today. Tomorrow I have money, I go and buy my clock or whatever. But when you employing someone to help you do all of that. It's like a total package, and you're putting everything together to have a look that looks well thought out, you know. And then we have different styles in interior design. It's very easy for the regular person to go to the market, you buy something because it's on sales, and you like it, and then you buy it. Maybe it's a contemporary style. You go another day, you see something else, it's a Victorian style. By the time you put everything together, you don't have that wholesome look, you know. But when you engage someone to do it for you professionally, you're able to have a curated space.
Amazing. I saw the price of curtain. My wife brought one down like, no, this cannot be the will of God.
Curtains are on another level.
And it's beautiful to hear that. Now, the point of this conversation is, too many times we talk about the economy, right? But you make up the economy. You operate in a sector, you operate in another sector, and you have, maybe because of grit, the drive, the Nigerian drive, entrepreneurial skill, you'll be able to come here. But that doesn't mean that there isn't work for government, the policymakers, to do, so that, I mean, your work can be easier, you can get more value, employ more people, and then the economy is better for it. So I'll stay with you for a moment and talk about how lucrative and challenging. We'll talk about how lucrative, I think that is clear, but also how challenging that sector is when it comes to policy, regulation, and the rest, because I hope that 2025 is the year that we're able to make things better for entrepreneurs.
Okay, so I think one of the major things would be in terms of skilled labor. In Nigeria especially, we don't have regularized skilled labor. So it's very easy for anybody to just pick up a skill and say, oh, I've learned this thing for 3 months. I'm now an expert in this thing. There's no, you know, and then, you know, so there's a lot of that to deal with, especially when you have to deal with artisans that are not properly schooled and all of that. And those are the bulk of the people we work with. But fortunately now I see a lot of educated people that are going into some of this industry. You find university graduates that have furniture stores. You find university graduates that are doing plumbing and a lot of other things like that. So that's bringing a new dynamics to it. But again, in terms of the government, I mean, there are policies that the governments would make that you would have absolutely no control over. Now, for instance, foreign exchange has impacted a lot of things. You go to the market today, something is 50K. In another 2 days, they're telling you it's 65K. And maybe you've given a client an invoice like, you know, 2 days before, and you have to struggle with all of those dynamics. It's just the reality of the times we live in, but we try to navigate it best as we can.
That's brilliant. And you just made a very important point. A lot of people focus on going to school to study the big courses in quote. Yeah. But I've seen architects who now build furniture, and it makes sense, right? Yes. If you're able to draw the lines, the curves, absolutely, you can bring that into you know, furniture making. And absolutely, I think this is just a wake-up call, particularly for educationists, government. TVET is a big deal. That's technical and vocational education and training. Yeah. So you can have people who are intelligent building furniture, you know, in fashion and the rest. I think we have that already. But I'll come to you now, it's quite interesting how you operate. You seem to operate in different fields, but there's still a lot of you know, similarities in the field you operate. So I'll also come to you and talk about how we're able to replicate easily. You find the average Nigerian model naturally wants to work for brands out there, which makes sense, right? But then people ask, for how long? How well are we able to replicate those successes back home as well? So I don't know if that's something you also look at and say, I wish we had modeling gigs that can pay, I don't know what the biggest amount you've gotten is, but happen right here in Nigeria. Is that something that worries you, and is that something that you think is possible?
It's very possible. It's very possible. It's something that is very possible, to be honest. Our sector, like the fashion industry, could do better here in Nigeria. They were trying, but we'll get there. We will get there. Because I won't say that they don't really treat us well in finance side, but they are trying. We'll get there, to be honest. The highest I've gotten is in thousands, but we'll get to the millions. We'll get there. We'll get there.
That's thousands of dollars, right?
It sounded like you're holding back. I know you are trying to, you know, manage your information, but it's okay to speak out as much as you can speak out, because it's also labor, it's also service you're providing. so that if there are people exploiting this space, of course there are people who are always exploiting this space. So 2 questions in one.
Okay.
How much of exploitation is going on? And the issue of, I'm trying to use this very civil word on TV. I think in movies we call it casting couch. Casting couch are basically directors asking girls or men now. Because now we have men asking men to sleep with men. You have a child and your child is now, your boy's child is following a girl and you're excited at least it's following a girl. Yeah, so we'll get there someday. So issues around casting couch, I want you to address it. And issues around exploitation, because you are a player in that space. Tomorrow, maybe you own your own modeling company and all of that. These are the things you have to address.
Casting, most of our models pass through casting. It's like a beginning stage for a model to pass through, where you get to walk down the aisle and showcase yourself and you'll be asked questions. You need to know your statistics about your body, and it's kind of like a difficult platform because if you have low self-esteem and you walk down and they tell you a no, it's kind of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not
pretty enough.
Yes, which is kind of, and most times they don't even tell you, they just say next. Which could be like, wait, what? There's a time that I went for a casting, and I passed through the first stage, the second stage. To the third stage, they dropped me, and I waited till the end to just hear asked why. And she was like, I don't know. I was like, okay.
Well, it's not a culture here to say why. Just we'll talk to you later. It's a Nigerian thing. I don't know why it's like that. But abroad, even if you apply for a job, they'll at least tell you something.
At least let me know my fault so I could at least work on it. But you are not helping me.
So the issue around is issues because there are a lot of pretty girls all over the place.
A lot
of pretty girls. So it's about pretty. There's a flurry of them. So I'm asking how much of demand for sex happens.
Oh, sex. I'm grateful to God that I've never experienced that to get a job. I'm not a desperate type of model that, oh, I must get this at all costs. I'm always grateful that God has always guided me to that space that, oh, when they say no, I'll go to my corner and work on myself. So the next time I go, they won't tell me a no. So yeah, see where I am right now. And I'm grateful that, so no, I haven't faced that, so I won't be able to talk about it.
And I think that's some sort of encouragement to people who think that's the only route to
Believe
success
in yourself.
In your field. Certainly not, at least judging from your own experience. Maybe not the same question, right? And this is about ensuring that at least what you do is sustainable, right? Jeffrey talked about how pricey it can be. So this is some sort of irony. We keep saying Nigeria is a poor nation. Jeffrey knows where I'm going, right?
I don't agree with that statement.
I don't.
Thank you very much. Okay, don't let me say thank you. Jeffrey will come for me. So we say Nigeria is really poor, but then during December, you go out in Lagos and other parts of the country, you're like, wow, poor people spend a lot of money, right? So is that something you've also experienced? And have you had to say, let me review my prices? Because I imagine that the average Nigerian will say, this is not for me. Let me just keep my house the way it is. So first, do you agree that Nigeria is a poor nation? And you can take it off.
I absolutely do not think Nigeria is a poor nation. I mean, I think last year,
you don't think so, too?
I don't think so.
I think last year I had like practically all of my friends go for vacation, and I was like, there's no money exchange rate. People are still going on vacation. Right? You know, so I think it's also what you make your own reality, right? I offer a luxury service. I can't be in that space where I'm thinking we're managing because I'm creating luxury for people. And in reality, we've had to take a bit of maybe profit cut. You've also had to, and I think everyone does this right now, you've had to look at product and materials, and you're able to like, okay, do I have to use this? Maybe I could substitute it with this to deal with the reality of the times. But it's a luxury service. People that want it would always want it, and there are those people in this country.
So I think what this says, Jeffrey, is that the rich seem to be getting richer.
Apparently.
And the wealth is not being shared around.
You've
well
come to
enough.
the point where we're talking about. So that is economics of it.
Because it looks like, because you offer a luxury service, you deal more with the rich. I don't know if you offer for the middle class as well. There should be something for the middle class.
There's something for everyone. But again, as I said, the reality of it is, and I have to be very sincere with this because I also train people as well. The reality of it is, it's a luxury service. As I said from the initial start, you can go into the market. Nobody's holding a gun to you that you have to set up your home at a particular time and do it at your own pace and go in there and find whatever it is you want. But if you're engaging someone, then you're willing to go all out to do the things that need to be done. So that's just what it is.
Interesting. So the question we always ask is, where did they see this money? Right? That's a general notion. So let me stay with you before I come to on this particular one. So in your view, has the industry scaled as much as it should scale? And are we representing the artistry as we should? Because you, technically you're an artist, you're creating spaces within homes. Because we're talking about economics here. You are part of the ecosystem, as I said. Whatever you're doing, as long as there's a transaction, you're part of the GDP. And so we must look at you in that broad sense, even from the micro level. The scaling, how much of it? And is it an industry how much do you need to come into the industry, or you just need an expertise?
So you're able to start with, you don't need a huge sum to come into the market because again, it's a service you're offering. So it's not like you're looking for capital to buy things to start off. I mean, eventually you could get to maybe owning a physical space to sell things, but all you need is the training at first. And that is a mistake a lot of people make. There's actually specific trainings for interior design, and then people that don't have training in interior design but they're able to do stuff that would still look good, we call them interior decorators. But when you've gone to school and gotten proper training in it, it's interior design. So if you're able to invest in that training, and it could be quite expensive, there are schools in Nigeria that offer it as well. If you're able to invest in the training and then prepare yourself, maybe start off with friends and family. Oh, I'm able to do this. Can I help you with this? And then you're building your portfolio little by little. You could start with creating mood boards that you can show people, just to be able to give visuals to those ideas that you have in your head. So it's not like you need huge capital to start, but it's good to start with investing in the proper trainings.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the person who is starting quite young and maybe not so much money, is not driving a big car. You approach, and this bill is about 1.5 billion, 3 billion.
So again, something we deal with in this industry is how people perceive you. And I remember one of the first trainings I did somewhere in Sierra Leone, and the woman would say to me that when she just started, unfortunately, there were no Ubers then. Now you could even get in an Uber and go to see a client, because you have people that they would look at you and size you up and like, I can't trust this person with 5 million naira, for instance.
Just based on money, right?
Exactly. You don't look like someone that's handled 1 million, so why would I want to give you? And that is an impression you have to create in this. She would say to me that she has one special bag that she bought just to visit clients. She doesn't carry it anywhere else. You don't go with jotters that you got in from a burial. Invest in a proper diary or something. Just the total package, because it is what is perceived. It's what people see that they believe, right? So you have to give yourself that kind of packaging as well.
Okay.
Well, Elizabeth, I just want to wind down with you now. Obviously, it's too late for some of us to consider modeling. You laughed. No. I thought you were going to give us hope and say, no, you can still try it.
You can actually.
Thank you very much. That's the hope we need in 2025.
Executive modeling.
That's really nice, right?
Yeah, just give us free suits and free shoes and
like
ties.
A few $1,000 or $1 million.
We'll model for you. I'm just joking.
Let's wind down with this point. What the future looks like, particularly for you now, because they say that you can't get to the market through one route. So have you gotten to a point where you say, well, modeling is good, but for how long would I do this? So are you exploring other, I don't want to say streams of income, because that sounds like money is the goal, but it's sort of part of it, but maybe streams of fulfillment, maybe things you're able to do such that you're sustainable, you built a brand, are you able to bring people under you, and of course be, a blessing in that sense. Is that something you're also looking at?
Well, yeah, I do have other skills. I've learned photography, I've learned cinematography, I've learned data analysis, I've studied psychology. So yeah, I have other streams of income that I've considered. I do modeling part-time while I do other things that being real source.
What do you do full-time? Well, on the other side,
I was doing 9 to 5, but right now I'm doing data analyst. I'm done with the program, so now I plan to practice with it, which is very interesting, to be honest.
Okay, that's
Brilliant.
a good transition.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Okokon,
yes,
stage name Ilox.
Yes.
Fashion model for Hues and Shades. Also,
no, data analyst.
Data analyst, we need to add that part. Yes, I needed to add that part. Abimbola Yesonya, luxury woman, interior designer, design facilitator, creative director, 18th Interiors and 18th Mistletoe. Is that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's just at the festive period. We do Christmas decor setup.
And co-founder and lead facilitator at Globe Design School. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for the work you do. We appreciate you, and we'll continue to celebrate you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more for you. Don't want to go anywhere. Stay with us.